Turn off those lights right behind you. Yeah, you have to get up. There you go. Good. Here we go. Good. I like how the camera just readjusted, right? Here we go. In low failing light, right? You're not going to be able to see too much of anything, right? So in low failing light, you're going to need to rely on your sense of touch, okay? Because the way our body and brain works, the receptors in our hands and the memory of how things felt will guide us as to whether or not we are touching something the right way, okay? So I want to feel the webbing of my hand choking the top part of this back strap, right? I want to feel my middle finger underneath this trigger guard, right? I want to feel my thumb up, and if you have a Glock or some other firearm with the serrations along that thumb, right? I want to feel that. I want to feel the heel of my support hand in that pocket of that grip. I want to feel the index of my support hand touching the bottom of this trigger guard. I want to feel, because I can't see, I want to feel my thumb touching the forward portion. And if you have a Glock or some other pistol, what little physical landmark do you feel on a Glock? It's the forward indentation right before the groove, which would typically be called a pick rail, where you would put lights, lasers, and other attachments. So I feel my thumb touching that. I also feel that same thing with my index finger touching either that or this little takedown notch, which has serrations on its own. So I can feel that. It's jagged. It's not sharp jagged, but it's jagged where I can feel it. It's distinct. So I know my fingers are in the right place. Just so happens to be that Glock has a little curve or a little groove, a little indentation where it's deep. It's a depression. So I can feel it. Okay. I know that I am holding this gun in my hand the right way. Okay. So that when I can't see, here we go. When I say threat, I just want you to punch out. Okay. Here we go. Naturally, you're not closing your eyes, right? Because you can't even see your sights. Hopefully you have night sights, but what if you have a gun that doesn't have night sights, right? Here we go. Threat. Naturally pointing, right? Absolutely. Bring it back to your chest. Here we go. Threat. Good. Naturally pointing. Now, one thing you have to do, bring it back to your chest. One thing you have to do that I'm seeing, when you punch that gun out, you punch that gun out just like this. And it's almost as if you're leading it rear sight forward, right? I want you to think about this like a knife. Sinuses, excuse me. I've always battled with sinus issues. Here we go. I want you to think about this like a knife. What if I had this knife, right? And I'm sitting here and I'm like, boy, I'm about to cut you. It's weird, ain't it?
Yeah.
It's weird with the knife blade down, right? Because that's not the purpose of this knife. You don't want to thrust your wrist forward like this because I'm not trying to hit him with the wrist. The purpose of using this knife is to take this knife and push it out towards this. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so treat this firearm just like a knife. I want to drive this muzzle forward and into my deadly threat. Does that make sense? Okay, so think about it, because if you're talking about rear sight, front sight, it's arguably the case that your front sight is important. Why? And I would agree, because this is where you want the bullet to go, not where the bullet will go. Other factors determine that. This is simply where you want the bullet to go. Okay? So if I want my bullet to go in that direction, I'm going to point this like a knife, stab out in that direction naturally. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. Bring it to your chest. Threat. Yeah, there you go. Right, good. Do your rear sight, your front sight, but remember, we're not seeing sights, okay? So you want that to punch out, right? Just naturally. If I happen to see my sights, cool. But they should already be at eye level, okay? Yeah. Here we go. Threat. All right, good. You got to work on that a little bit, okay? But you know at least you got things you got to work on. Bring it to your chest. Well, what were you aiming at?
I was just aiming at the little picture right here.
Oh, that's fine. Okay, good. Which picture?
This one, over here with the little jersey on there.
Oh.
That's why when you was like, you aiming, I was looking at that at first.
Oh, shit. I know what you was aiming at. All right, fine. Yeah. Here we go. Because I'm looking at where your eyes are and where the gun is. Yeah, because I can typically tell when your eyes are aligned with where the firearm is. See, point shooting and sight shooting is different. Sight shooting, you're looking here. Point shooting, this is just like a finger, right? You're looking at the back of this through this slide at the threat. Just imagine if you were pointing and you were like closing one eye, trying to align your finger with where you point. You ain't got time to do that shit. You ain't never done that in your life. No. Both eyes were open and you were like, you motherfucker, you kept your eyes on that threat. And what did you do? Point at the person you were trying to point at. So just keep it just like that. Here we go. Make it natural. Don't try to add in shit to it because your body ain't used to that. You ain't done it yet. Right. Here we go. Threat. See, much better. Much natural. There you go. You just drove that shit right to wherever you were looking at. Just look through the slide, at the back of the slide, through the slide, at the threat. Keep it natural. Chest. Because when it comes down to spontaneous, remember, distance equals time. Distance equals time. You have to have the distance to have the time to be able to aim, to be able to look through your rear sight at your front sight, right? The further the distance, the more time you may have to actually be able to aim. But if it's true, which it is, FBI studies show most armed encounters are 2 to 5 yards, 6 to 15 feet. You're not going to have time, right? As one of my instructor friends have said, the rule of 3. It happens within 3 yards, 3 seconds, 3 rounds. Okay? 3 yards, 3 seconds, 3 rounds. 3 yards, 3 seconds, 3 rounds. Okay? That's literally it. 3 yards, 3 seconds, 3 rounds. The rule of 3. All right? By the time you have time to aim, you just got shot. Okay? It's literally one of those threat. Point, shoot. There we go. You got to get that shot off. 3 rounds, 3 seconds, 3 yards. Okay? Up close. All right? So when I say threat, I want you to point that firearm naturally, like you would point at someone, right? Except this someone is a deadly threat. Okay? Here we go. Threat. See? Much natural. Much more natural. Much more natural. Good. All right, bring it back to your chest. Here we go. Threat. Bring it back to your chest. Threat. Bring it back to your chest. Good. Threat. Bring it back to your chest. All right, take your finger off the trigger. Good. Get into the habit of, here we go. Matter of fact, let's practice that. All right, hit those lights real quick. Good, here we go. Let's practice